I find it amazing how if we leave this kitchen for even one day, it looks like an army of 6,000 people ate in here, and it is an upside down mess. So in this video, we kind of let it go for a few days, and we did that with the express purpose of showing you how to take a really messy kitchen and make it clean, what the methods look like, and the products, tools, and techniques that I use to accomplish that. So stay tuned, you're gonna see a very detailed kitchen clean with me. Now, not too long ago, we did a whole home clean with me, and part of that was a very messy kitchen. So this is actually footage from that time, but I wanted to deep dive into cleaning a kitchen thoroughly, which is why we took this footage and slowed it down for this particular clean with me. Now, whenever you start with a kitchen, the first thing you need to deal with are your dishes. Now, funny enough, well, I don't know if you can call it funny, ironically, I don't even know if you can call it ironically, our dishwasher conked out during this whole situation. So we are now hand washing our dishes, which does take a lot more time than unloading a dishwasher. But either way, you can't clean a kitchen properly if you have dirty dishes or even clean dishes sitting out. So the first thing you have to do is deal with them. Now, you probably saw me spray some dishes there, and what I'm doing is, while I'm unloading the dishwasher, I'm pre-treating the dirty stuff. So that way, by the time I'm ready to load it up, I can either give it a quick rinse or I can put it into the dishwasher with full confidence that even the toughest messes will come out. The other thing I'll say is I like to scrape out my dishes thoroughly. I don't necessarily rinse everything before I put it in the dishwasher, but I scrape everything out really, really well into the compost bin. So that and the pre-treating for the dirtier stuff really helps ensure that when I unload the dishwasher, there aren't any misgivings. So I first dealt with everything on the counter in the sink. The next thing I'm doing is kind of corralling all of the other mess from the other parts of the kitchen that need to be dealt with to go in the dishwasher, because the dishes are the first part of tackling a kitchen. When I clean any room, when I tackle it, I have what I call my 3-wave approach. And the first wave is tidying and organizing. The second wave is the actual cleaning, the dusting, disinfecting, polishing, wiping. And the third and final step is floors and garbage. So in the kitchen, dishes is actually the first part of the first wave. You can see here that part of the tidying really does involve getting all of those dishes corralled, getting all of the food going into the compost bin, and then hand washing, which is what I'm moving on to right now. So when I hand wash, I always like to set up a little drying station. I throw down one of our Maker's Clean waffle weave towels. They're really big for those of you that have them. And the reason we made them so big is so that you can dry a large amount of stuff at one time instead of having to have multiple cloths out at once. For certain things like wine glasses, I actually prefer using microfiber cloths to do my cleaning instead of sponges. So I just added a little bit of dish soap, added some water to the glass, and kind of gave it a good cleaning that way. It was nice and easy and took a few seconds. And you can see that I'm being choosy with my tools. So I'll use a non-scratch sponge where necessary, or a microfiber cloth in the case of the wine glass. But I'm always stocked with the right products and tools so that I can get the job done as quickly as possible. So you'll see I have a few different tools there. Now, I also like to leave the most difficult stuff to the end. So those baking sheets, pots, pans, I always like to pre-treat that stuff while I'm cleaning the easier stuff, so that by the time I tackle it, the pre-treater, which oftentimes I'll just use what's in that purple spray bottle, which is just soap and water, has had time to break down some of the grease and dirt, making it much easier to clean. So, you know, when I tackle this frying pan and that brazier, the yellow pot over there, they have already had time to sit, so the work takes much less time. So you can see here the brazier, I just pre-treated and I left on the side of the counter. I'll tackle that a little bit later. And that's a really good technique to bring into your kitchen cleaning. If you notice something that's really greasy or is gonna require quite a bit of extra work, pre-treat it, whether it's a greasy backsplash or a dirty pot, and come back to it a few minutes later. Now I've got to deal with emptying the compost and putting all of the recycling and garbage where it belongs. And you can see by the time this job is done, my kitchen will look so much cleaner. So just the dishes, the garbage, the recycling, all that stuff sitting out alone, that contributed to the majority of the mess, which is making a great case to keep on top of your kitchen every day. So a few minutes have passed, I did a couple other things, and then I came back to the brazier, and it took so much less time than it would have if I, just dumped the soap in and started scrubbing it right then and there. And the general order that I like to work when I'm using my 3-wave system is I find a starting point, I usually use the doorway, and I work my way around that room from the top to the bottom, finding everything in its path and cleaning it or doing what I need to do with it. So in the case of the kitchen, obviously it's a little bit more mishmashed because you're dealing with dirty dishes and garbage and recycling, but still try to maintain some semblance of order. That way you know you're not missing anything. Now, as I start to spray down and get ready for cleaning, you'll see I work in a very methodical order so that I'm not missing any of the surfaces. We're into wave 2 of kitchen cleaning because the dishes and the tidying is all done. At this point, all my job is left to do is to actually clean, which is what I'm doing. And in that purple spray bottle, I'm gonna give you that recipe quickly, but if you do wanna make your own cleaners, you know that Clean My Space can hook you up. We've got all kinds of amazing cleaning recipes. We'll link some down below for you. I've just got 2 cups of water, a half teaspoon of dish soap, and 20 drops of tea tree essential oil. And I use that for my entire kitchen, granite countertops, everything. Now I'm gonna scrub my sink down. I like to do this when I know I'm not gonna need my sink anymore because once I polish my sink, I want it to look pretty for at least 5 minutes. So I sprinkle some baking soda in there, throw some dish soap in there as well, and give it a nice scrub with hot water and a non-scratch sponge. Then I empty out those little sink traps, give everything a really good rinse, and polish it down with a microfiber cloth. And now the part that tells me my work is pretty much done. I'm going to be cleaning the floors, and I do this in a 2-step process. The first step is obviously vacuuming. I prefer using a stick vacuum to sweeping. I just find it easier and more efficient. And I work my way around the room. In this case, I'm also going to be cleaning my chairs. I'm using the little power head upholstery attachment here on this Dyson V11. I'll put a link to that down below. I'm pretty obsessed with it. And once that's done, I'm then gonna mop the floors. That's the second step. Now I'd love to know if you prefer marathon cleans or small and more frequent cleans, especially during a time like this. What is feeling right to you? Let me know in the comments down below. Even though it seemed like a lot of work, and it was, once you have a strategy in place, including understanding your products, tools, and techniques, you'll know exactly what to do and in what order to attack everything so that you can be efficient and effective and get this work done as quickly as possible. I hope that helped you. Now go clean that kitchen.